So for the past couple of weeks, my wife has been asking me to do these Dr. Pepper ribs. I've been seeing a bunch of these recipes online where people use Dr. Pepper to make a barbecue sauce and do things like chicken, pork, and it actually sounds really good. So we're gonna get some ribs, get them on, and see how they turn out. All right, so I've got some ribs in my basement fridge. Don't mind the mess. This is where the kids do all their stuff. We've got some Babyback ribs, so let's get them on and let's get them going. Before we do the ribs, I'm gonna fire up the grill because that takes a little bit to get up the temperature. So for this one, I'm gonna use my extra large big green egg. I like to wear gloves when I prep it because it's just kind of dirty, messy, so these just make things a little bit simpler. Okay, so here's the inside, right? So we've got the charcoal. And again, lump charcoal is reusable, so this is from my last cook, so I'm just gonna kind of shake it off a little bit. I'll add some fresh one. And just kind of spread it around. Now we're gonna get this thing started. So there's a couple different methods, and I went over these in my other videos, but you can use these starter cubes, you can use a torch. You just don't use charcoal starter fluid, because with lump charcoal, as you can see, right, it's kind of like natural wood looking. It's just gonna absorb that starter fluid and your food's gonna taste like gasoline, so nobody wants that. Put a couple of these bad boys in and get it fired up. That's gonna take about 25 minutes or so to get up the temperature, get the charcoal ignited a little bit. So the ribs I like to do at about 250 indirect heat, and total cook time on these is probably gonna be about, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours, I'm guessing. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll explain along the way. So what happens, right, when you cook with this plate setter, the fats, the sauces, whatever you're cooking just kind of drips down. So now you gotta scrape this off, you know, before I put this on, because otherwise this will come up to temperature and then it's gonna start to burn off and give it that kind of unpleasant taste. Just like that. All right, we'll get that cleaned up later, right? Well, somebody will clean it up. Okay, anyway, so now this goes right on top here, right? The charcoal is gonna get nice and hot, and then the heat and the smoke is gonna go around the plate setter, around the dome, creating this kind of a nice, even cooking temperature for the ribs, and indirect heat, meaning the bottoms and the meat's not gonna burn. Grate's a little gnarly too, so let's scrape that off too. So I think we've got what we need to get started. So we've got Dr. Pepper. So I've got about 4 cans to start. We've got a little yellow mustard. This is gonna be my binder. And for the seasoning, going with my brand new Dad's All-Purpose Rub. It's available on the website. Kind of your standard all-purpose seasoning, similar to like a barbecue chip flavor. I think it's really good. So if you wanna try it out, head to the website. You can get some. Instead of just seasoning and getting the ribs on the grill, I'm gonna soak them in the Dr. Pepper for, you know, the 20-30 minutes it takes for the grill to get up to temperature. Then we'll season them and get them on. So hopefully that imparts some more of that kind of sweet Dr. Pepper flavor into them. Just a nice rack of Babyback ribs. So I'm not gonna pat them dry because I'm gonna let them kind of soak and marinate. This one too. And these are some nice looking ribs. You can see the marbling on the meat, right? So kind of these little white lines and speckles, that's all the fat that's within the muscle. So you want as much of that as possible because that's gonna render down during the cook and get these ribs super tender and juicy. But before I pour the Dr. Pepper over, let's flip these over. So here is the membrane on the back. Now for the longest time when I've been making ribs, I would always remove the membrane. That's kind of what I've been taught to do, that it helps, you know, impart the flavor, get them more tender. But then one time, I was cooking ribs and I don't know if I forgot to remove it or whatever, I was rushing, cooked them with the membrane on, and they actually came out just the same as with the membrane off. So for the last couple months, I've been leaving the membrane on, and it just makes the prep a little bit simpler. You can remove it if you want. In my experience, found that it's not really needed. One other thing that you can do is just take your knife and just kind of score the back membrane a little bit, just to kind of cut it up a little bit, you know? So then we'll go like this, do a little cross section, and then we'll do the same thing on this one. Again, no need to remove them, at least in my opinion, but feel free to do as you guys like. Let me know in the comments if you remove your membranes, you don't remove them, or if you don't care, you just want some ribs. Move these over. Okay, so I've got a couple cans of Dr. Pepper. Let's pour this over. Oh yeah. I guess we'll just go with enough to kind of get them submerged. You know, like I said, hopefully, I'm not sure if this is gonna do anything or not, but we'll just let them hang out in the Dr. Pepper while the grill's coming up to temperature. Okay, actually I'm just gonna flip these guys over so the meat side is submerged. Ooh. Okay. Okay, grill is almost up to temperature. So let's get the ribs prepped up. Let's remove them out of this Dr. Pepper brine. Okay, we'll go first one, second one. And now we're just gonna pat these guys dry. I guess they look about the same. Maybe if they sat for longer in the Dr. Pepper, they'd kind of darken up in color. And do the bottom as well. Okay, so first up, we've got some yellow mustard. This will act as a binder to help the seasoning stick to the meat. So just want to go just a little layer of mustard. You don't need a lot, and then just kind of spread it out. Don't worry, you won't be able to taste it. You can also use hot sauce. You can use pretty much anything, really. Okay, we'll do the underside too. Get the edges. Make sure it's all nicely coated. Okay, next up, we got the seasoning. So again, my new all-purpose rub. We're just gonna go with a nice layer. You don't need as much on the bottom because you got the bones, but just a nice even coating. Little trick is you want to season high, so it kind of hold your bottle a little higher so you get a nice even distribution of the seasoning on your ribs or whatever it is that you're seasoning. I like to kind of pick this up and shake off any excess, the sides just a little bit. Flip it over, and then we'll repeat on the other side. Okay, now we do meat side. We'll go a little heavier on the meat side since this is where, well, the meat is, so this is the part that's you want to season the most. So a nice, again, nice even layer. So for this one, I like to shake off the excess and then just press that in a little bit, right? Really get it to stick to the meat. You don't want to rub this around because again, it's going to clump up on you, but just kind of press it in. Again, make sure you get the edges. After they're seasoned up, we're gonna let these sit for about 5 minutes. You can see they're starting to kind of sweat out a little bit. You can see the moisture being pulled out and that seasoning start to kind of get absorbed into it. So again, just let them hang out a couple minutes. The grill is almost to temperature, and then we'll get it on. Now, as far as the cooking method goes, so I'm gonna go 250 degrees indirect for about 2.5 hours or so, just until the outside has that nice kind of a barky color and you can start to see the bones a little bit. Then we're going to wrap them in foil for about an hour with some butter, brown sugar, just to get them super tender, and then we'll remove them from the foil after about an hour, add the sauce, cook for a few more minutes, and they should be ready. Ribs are looking great. You can see it in the sunshine. Look at this color. Nice and wet and sticky on the outside. So again, we're gonna put them right in the center, just like that. The ribs have been on for about 2 hours, so let's go take a peek. Things are looking great. You can see the bones are starting to show a little bit. Ooh, that's hot. And one other thing that I'm doing that I like to do, about an hour in, I spritz them with a little apple cider vinegar just to keep that outside nice and moist and prevent them from drying out. So just a little spritzing. Let's get the second stage going. So we've got some heavy duty aluminum foil, we've got some honey, some butter, and we're gonna wrap the ribs in this kind of concoction to get them super tender, because right now they're you know, almost done, but they're still a little tough. So this is gonna help quite a bit. Get the foil ready first. So a nice long sheet. We'll get another one. Ooh. Oh man, I need sunglasses out here, holy cow. First up, we've got some butter. This is just your regular standard unsalted butter. We'll do a couple pats of butter. Okay, so we'll go about 3, 4, and then we'll put this butter right on the foil. 2, 3, 4. Just a nice drizzle of honey. I'm gonna go get the first rack of ribs and put these guys down. Man, these are looking really nice. See, starting to bend nicely. You can see the kind of the underside. The bones are peeking out. That membrane kind of burnt off and crisped up. So again, no issues with cooking with the membrane on. So let's go get this rack on first. Okay, so again, meat side down. Kind of press that in just a little bit. 4 pats of butter right on top. Another drizzle of honey. Okay. Okay, we'll start folding this up. Fold this over. Just be careful. Use the really kind of heavy duty foil so the bones don't puncture the foil. You want to kind of get it as airtight as possible to kind of keep all that moisture and steam inside. Lift this up. We got a little funnel. There we go. And then I'm going to pour about, I don't know, about a 1/4 can right inside. Now we're gonna fold the top over. So this one made a little hole here, so that's why I like doing 2 sheets. You can use the other one and make sure everything stays nice and tight. So that meat is gonna braise kind of in the Dr. Pepper butter honey mixture, and the ribs are gonna get super tender. And this goes back on the grill, same temperature, about 250 degrees or so, for about an hour. So if you like your ribs really tender, kind of fall off the bone, go about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I like mine to have a little bit of a bite to them, so an hour is perfect. So now it's going meat side down so that meat can braise in that liquid. And we've got our second one. Okay, right next to it. We'll come back and check on these guys in about an hour or so. Let's work on our Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce next. So we're gonna combine everything here, and then I'll cook it inside. But it's basically a standard barbecue sauce recipe. So I've got some Dr. Pepper, ketchup, some red wine vinegar for a little tanginess, molasses, some Worcestershire, brown sugar. It's kind of my go-to recipe for barbecue sauce, except we'll add the Dr. Pepper to give it that extra flavor. I need to get one of these little burners out here so I can do this stuff outside, because I'm gonna mix it here and take it inside to cook or simmer and thicken up. So we're gonna go with some ketchup first. I'm gonna kind of eyeball these. So we're gonna go with about a half a cup. Next, we're gonna go with molasses. So this is just a very nice, flavorful, nice and thick, I don't know, about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of molasses. Okay, a little apple cider vinegar, or this is red wine vinegar. About a tablespoon. You can use apple cider vinegar too. Might actually work a little better, but a little Worcestershire. Okay, we'll give it a little bit of that umami flavor. Okay, we'll go with some brown sugar. This is gonna help it kind of thicken up as it cooks. So about I don't know, 2 tablespoons or so. And then you can adjust this as it's cooking too, if it's a little too thin or too thick. And then Dr. Pepper, of course. We'll go with about a half a can. So it's going to be a lot of liquid, but this is going to simmer on the stove and cook down and reduce to really concentrate the Dr. Pepper flavor in our sauce. You need a little seasoning, so hit it with a little of my all-purpose rub, just about a teaspoon or so. So that's our kind of sauce base. Okay, let's get this guy on. We'll get the stove going. This one. So again, low heat. You just want to bring this up to a simmer. Probably take about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll just, simmer until it reduces down to our desired consistency, and then this will go on the ribs at the very end. Okay, our sauce is ready. Here, check this out. Yeah, so it's still pretty warm, so it's a little more runny, but this will thicken up as it cools down a little bit. Let's go check our ribs and see if they're ready to be sauced. So what I like to do, we're just gonna open the foil here real quick. The bones are showing nicely. We're just gonna probe these guys, probe the meat to make sure that it's tender, right? So when you insert your meat thermometer, see it goes in without any resistance. Temperature is right around 200 internal, so this is really good. Let's move on to the next stage of the process. Quickly. Ooh. Before we sauce them up, what I like to do is we'll open up the foil and we'll flip them, meat side up, and then we'll put them back on the grill with the foil, with the top uncovered, so it'll be kind of an easier thing to carry, like a little boat with the barbecue sauce. Let's see what we got here. Look at that. These are some mighty fine looking ribs. Kind of fold the sides. So again, we're making like a little boat just to make it easier to get them on and off the grill. Gently flip them over. Quickly. Oh man. Ooh. So just take your sauce and we'll just kind of brush this on, or kind of dab this on a little bit, just like this. Again, everything is still kind of wet from the braise and the sauce. We're going to put this back on the grill, uncovered, meat side up, and let everything kind of tack up a little bit and get nice and sticky. See, so you get your little foil boat, so it's easy to get them on and off. So we'll just put them on like this, uncovered, 15-20 minutes or so, and these will be ready to serve. It's been about 15 minutes. Let's take a quick look at our ribs. I think they should be done by now. Wow. These things look really nice. It's a beautiful color, nice, kind of a dark mahogany. That sauce thickened up nicely. Yeah, let's pull these guys off. Yes, look at that. Okay, let's get this other one off too. Oh yeah. We'll take the rest of our sauce, serve it up on the side. Should have made a little bit more. Yeah, so the last part, this is something that I need a little practice on, is to get that thumbnail for the YouTubes. Make it look nice and pretty, appetizing. Whew, it is getting really hot out here. Okay, so we got the thumbnail. Let's move this out of the way. We'll get our knife. Let's cut into this rack. So what I like to do is flip it upside down so you can see where the bones are, and then it's easier to cut so you don't hit the bones. First one, and these are tender. Okay, let's just go for it. Let's just grab this one here. Oh yeah, look at that, squishy, juicy, still kind of holding up its shape. Let's just go for it. Wow. Wow. That is really delicious. It is tender, nice clean bone, but still stays kind of together. It doesn't just fall doesn't fall apart. So this was the back piece, right? Not chewy, it's perfectly good to eat. Man, this is really good. Again, definitely taste the Dr. Pepper. It's got what, 23 flavors, so maybe I can taste like 20 of them. I'm just kidding.
What flavors do you taste?
No, it's a little smoky. My rub is really good on these. My rub has a nice kind of balance of pepper, salt, and sugar, so it really complements that Dr. Pepper nicely. A little extra sauce. A little extra sauce. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Oh yeah. Wow. These are one of the better ribs I've ever made. It's just such a good sweet, little spicy, tangy sauce. I think that's it for this video. I'm gonna hang out here, eat more of my delicious Dr. Pepper ribs. If you guys like what I'm doing here, hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.